Voobly or Steam. I'm going to compare both platforms as fairly as one man can to help you come to the decision of where is best for you to play Age of Empires 2. I did a poll on my Facebook page earlier today asking you to rate what you think is the most important to your online Age of Empires 2 experience, and that's going to help me order this video. I'm going to compare them in the following categories: game variety, workshop and mods, spectator features, friendliness to new players, friend tools, moderation, quality of life, ease of use, and community. So let's jump right into it. Game variety seems very important to the community. I take this to mean that people are looking for lots of options to play different game modes such as custom scenarios and deathmatch, and also different maps and settings in those random map games as well. At the time of making this video, I'll do a quick breakdown of the open lobbies available on both Voobly and Steam. On Steam there's a total of 15 open lobbies, 10 are random map, 3 are deathmatch, 2 are custom scenario. Voobly currently has 39 open lobbies, random map is 27, deathmatch is 2, and there's 10 custom scenario lobbies. So right now, Voobly has over double the open lobbies. Obviously, this is only a snapshot in time, but it does give us some insight. As you will see later, there's also more game mods available to play with friends via Voobly, and even the Forgotten and the African Kingdoms can be played via the Voobly platform. However, when it comes to civilization and map variety in random map games, it is clear that AoEHD has a little bit more on the table. The majority of players in AoEHD are playing the expansions with the additional maps and civilizations, whereas the majority of players on Voobly are playing the original Conquerors civilizations only. Voobly has not really been able to grow a sizable player base for the expansions yet, so you will have a harder time finding those types of games on there. Both Voobly and Steam have a workshop where you can download mods and have them instantly available in-game. There's two types of mods in Age of Empires. There's visual mods and there's data mods. Visual mods are straightforward since they only change the way that the game looks. This means that they don't cause any compatibility issues. Different players in the same game can have different visual mods and it's absolutely fine. Data mods, on the other hand, change the way that the game actually functions. Therefore, every player in the game must have the same data mod installed, else the game's just going to crash. When it comes to visual mods, Steam definitely offers the most on their workshop. There's lots of texture packs, unit skins, and building mods that you can choose from, and you can dramatically change the look of the game. On Voobly, you'll mostly find the essentials. The Small Trees mod is the most popular download, along with other quality of life visuals such as the grid terrain and the no snow patch. There are some terrain mods on Voobly as well, but there's certainly a lot more available via the Steam workshop. If you take a look at the data mods, it is a different story though. Voobly have a large number of custom game modes and data mods which are proven to be very popular, including balance patches and official tournament patches as well. Steam doesn't really have anything like this. There are a few data mods on Steam which increase the population limit, for example, but they're rarely used, and I'll explain why that is. As we found out earlier, in order for data mods to work, all of the players in the game must have the mod installed. With Voobly, you can easily ensure that this is the case. When you create a game room, you can select the game mod that you'd like to use. This is easily visible by browsing players, and any players who join the game and do not have the mod installed already will automatically download the mod in order to play. On Steam, however, it's not quite so easy. If you host a game which is running a data mod, there's no indicator to the players that join. If they want to play, they need a direct link to the workshop page where they can download it. And that's quite hard when you can't copy and paste the text from the chat box. When it comes to comparing the ease of downloading mods, it's very straightforward on both platforms. With Steam, you simply click the subscribe button on the workshop page and the mod will download into your game. On Voobly, you can click the install button at the top of the page, and then the mod will be available to activate or deactivate from the game room. Spectating games is a very popular thing to do, watching others play for entertainment or just to learn. Whatever the reason, both Voobly and Steam give you spectator options. On Steam, you'll find the spectator option in the civilization drop-down box. Selecting this will allow you to watch the game as if you were watching a recorded one. You will notice though that spectators do take space in the lobby screen, and this makes spectating a 4v4 on AoEHD impossible, short of watching it being streamed on Twitch, that is. When it comes to spectating in AoEHD, it's fairly straightforward, but there's not really any quality of life improvements, which we will see when we compare it to the Voobly spectator mode. On Voobly, spectators are defined in the game room prior to launch in the lobby, and the experience is quite feature-rich. First, the game host can select a spectator delay, typically 1 minute and 30 seconds, but it can be as high or as low as they like. This means that once the game is launched, the spectators will not launch their games until the spectator delay has timed out. This helps to prevent stream cheating in tournaments, or spectators from feeding information to the players during the game. Once the game actually launches for their spectators, there's a lot more features available to them on Voobly. If they've downloaded one of the spectator dashboards from the Voobly mod workshop, they will be able to see in-depth stats about the game. This includes basic information such as visible population counts for all players, and advanced information such as map control percentages and even APM graphs. It also shows current researches as they're being done by all of the players in the game. This information is really valuable to casters since it provides a clear insight into the game without spending a lot of time fiddling with changing between players to check buildings and information. This allows casters to focus more on the action and give a better viewing experience. It's the same for viewers as well if they're watching or spectating the game firsthand and aren't watching a Twitch stream. There's other quality of life improvements too, such as hotkeys to switch between player views, and this is not possible on the Steam version right now. I nearly forgot to add that on Voobly you can also late spectate games. This means that if the game has already started, you can still join the lobby, and Voobly will put you into the game where the game is currently taking place, even if it's partway through. Another benefit to spectating on Voobly is that you can actually watch pro players play. This is where all of the best players in the world play Age of Empires 2, and usually there's not too many restrictions on which games you can and can't watch. So if you want to watch the Viper play, or Riot, or whoever else your favourite player is, this is where you're going to find them. Friendliness to new players is another important thing that you guys are looking for. You'll certainly find more new players to match against on AoEHD, since the majority of people playing the game have rediscovered it on Steam and are playing again after a huge break. Some are even picking it up for the first time. Whilst it is true that the veterans and experts do play on Voobly, it's also worth pointing out that there's actually a new player lobby on Voobly as well. This is usually even more populated than the others. There's no doubt that there's a big community of noobs on Voobly, players that don't game very often or players that are just moving over from AoEHD. Finding equally skilled opponents is one thing though, but there's also the community attitude and features that will help newer players to consider as well. There is a common misconception that Voobly players are elitist and not willing to play with new players. This is not the case. If you start in the new player lobby, it will be fairly easy to find a game. Of course, people will be wary of a player who has 0 games played in case they're a smurf, but let's not pretend that smurfing doesn't exist on AoEHD either. The difference is that on Voobly, you can see the number of games the user has played, whilst on AoEHD, you can only see their rating. One thing that we must come to accept is that there are toxic players in every online community. There's assholes on Steam, there's assholes on Voobly. It's the tools that you have to help deal with those assholes which makes your online experience better and friendlier. This gives us a nice actual segue into moderation and friend tools, which are 2 more categories I want to compare. These 2 categories are lowest rated in my poll, but in my opinion I think they're really important since these are the 2 things that allow you to grow a friendlier, higher quality of life environment. First, let's talk about friend tools. There are so many benefits to having a group of people to play with, a band of friends who play together on the regular and get to know each other well over time. They are practice partners and your trusty companions when it comes to playing online, and they aren't the assholes that you're trying to avoid. This is why friend tools are important. On Voobly, you have a friends list and an ignore list. You also have a watch list. To add a friend on Voobly, you simply right-click their name in the game browser or in the lobby and click Send a Friend Request. If they accept, then you're friends, and you can see when they're online from your friends list or even from the game browser. If you meet a wild asshole, right-click their name and click Ignore. They can no longer contact you or join your games. Simple. On Steam, you also have a friends list. and you can block people, though blocking doesn't actually affect anything. So I just played a game on Steam, and I want to add my teammate as a friend. His name was Jet. So I go to my Steam friends list and add friend. I type in Jet and, oh, well, I don't know which one he is. There's a lot of Jets here. After clicking through a few profiles, I can't seem to find one that actually plays AoEHD. In the end, I just forget about it, because I can't find the guy. Unlike Voobly, you can't right-click people in the lobby and add them as a friend, and you can't ignore them either. Even if they have no crazy characters or symbols in their name, you're going to have a hard time finding them in the friends search as well. Now, if you're trying to deal with someone who keeps joining your game after you've kicked them for the nth time, sadly you're out of luck. If you manage to find them on Steam and block them, there's absolutely no impact in the game to prevent them from spamming you, harassing you, or anything else. And this leads us to moderation, of which AoEHD has virtually none. There was a guy who was able to host a lobby with this as the title for weeks with no consequence. Find someone who's trolling or walling his allies' town centre in? The best you can do is report them on the Steam forum and hope that the devs do something. In short, there's nothing you can do. They can get away with it and they can keep doing it. What about a user who starts a game and instantly resigns in order to lose elo and lower his visible rating? This means that a player who is 2k could point trade down to 1300 and spend his time bashing noobs if he liked. Once again, zero consequence. Voobly, on the other hand, has a dedicated moderation team. Point trading is punished with a ban. Trolling your allies is punished with a ban. Hosting lobbies with swastikas in the title, it's punished with a ban. It's easy to report people, it's easy to remove assholes from your online experience. That's enough said, so let's move on. Quality of life is a broad topic and it is somewhat vague, but let's cover a few things here. The first obvious one to me is the ability to easily restore games. Even with modern technology, internet drops happen. Being able to quickly and easily restore is great. So, AoEHD, how's your restore function looking? Oh, right, it's broken. Well, patch 4.8 will fix it, right? Yeah, it is fixed in patch 4.8. That's great, but it's been broken for over a year already. Voobly, how's your restore function looking? It's simple, it's straightforward, and if the game drops, everybody stays in the lobby, so there's no huge headache in trying to round everyone up and get them back into the game again. Unlike AoEHD, where everybody is ejected back to the main screen. What about the availability to see more information about the people you're playing with when joining your game room? Well, on AoEHD you can see their rating and that's basically it. Neat. On Voobly you can see a brief overview of how many games they've played and their ratings on different ladders. But if you click through to their profile, you can see all sorts of information. Rating history, win-loss graphs, even a comprehensive list of all the previous matches they've played, and a link to download the recorded game from that match. It's handy stuff, and it's just some of the many quality of life features that you will find on Voobly, which are just simply absent on AoEHD. So ease of use is very important, and Steam is definitely easy to set up. You purchase the game, you download, you install, you play. Voobly, on the other hand, is not so straightforward, but it's not that far removed from the process of Steam. First, you download the Voobly client. It's comparable to downloading the Steam client. The main difference with Voobly is that you have to have Age of Empires installed already, be it the disc version or AoEHD. Both are actually fine. Once it's installed, you launch it and you select a lobby. Voobly will try and detect if Age of Empires is on your PC. If the disc version is present, it will configure the game for you. If you have AoEHD installed, you'll have to download the AoEHD compatibility patch. Completing this process is out of the scope of this video, but it is safe to say that Voobly is harder to set up. It's not much harder, but it does involve additional steps that many people are not willing to take if the game works just fine on Steam. Which, by the way, for the last 3 years, it hasn't. It's up to you to decide if installing Voobly is worth it, and the purpose of this video is just to compare features. Finally, let's discuss community. The Age of Empires community is larger than just Voobly and Steam. Whilst both have their communities, it also extends past that into places such as the Age of Empires 2 subreddit, AOC Zone, and all of the various Twitch streamers and YouTubers. What's important about community is similar to what makes the game friendly to new and old players alike. It's finding a place to communicate with and spend time with like-minded people with a common interest. In this case, AoE2. The only real community features on Steam are the discussion forums, which are very broad and usually full of complaints, or you can make a Steam group. You'll find an AoEHD Steam group in the description to this video. The problem is, they're harder to discover, and they don't offer much value to the people using them, since they don't integrate into the game in any way. On Voobly, you will find some community building tools. They have their own forum, though it's mostly used for moderation purposes, and they have clan pages too. Clan pages are like a Steam group, only they do integrate with the Voobly client, and they have a little more purpose. Clans on Voobly can set a clan tag, which is displayed throughout the client, and you can see the clan page by right-clicking on a team member and clicking View Team. You'll find similar information here as you would in a Steam group, a list of members, some basic information, and their online status. However, you'll also find rating lists, recent matches, and a clan forum on Voobly as well. All in all, there are strong similarities between both in this area, with the main difference being that Voobly has better integration and a few more features. So, with all of the categories discussed, and what I believe to be quite an objective look at these platforms side by side, I hope this will help you to decide where you would rather play. Let me know if you have any questions at all by posting a comment down below, and I'll do my best to answer. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm running a weekly screenshot competition on the Age of Empires 2 subreddit. This picture is last week's winner, Alkalim, with his image, A Blood-Soaked Dawn. The theme for last week was Wrath of the Vikings, and I'll be posting screenshot competitions every week on the Age of Empires 2 subreddit. You can find this week's competition linked in the description to this video.